Iron Man always seems to bump heads with certain Avengers, doesn't he? Him and Captain America always seem to be at odds on big moral and ethical issues. And sure, they'll sometimes fight against each other, but pretty soon they'll bury the hatchet and team up to stop the big bad guy. But Iron Man and She Hulk? Well, they always seem to be at odds too. And unlike Tony and Steve, well, these two never really seem to make up afterwards. They're just constantly butting heads, fighting, trying to get one over on the other, and there's just never really a break. And so, if they've been kind of fighting for decades, who would ultimately come out on top? Who's going to win when we throw them in the battle arena? Well, let's get into it. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to DanCo with the notifications on. We always really appreciate the support. And if we're breaking down this fight, which we are, well, then I think an amazing place to start is going to have to be strength. I mean, we're talking about a Hulk here. We knew strength was going to be a huge part of this video. So let's get into the gym and talk about those gains. She Hulk is incredibly strong, like to the point where she's able to send people flying across cities and states with her punches. She broke half of Mount Rushmore when she fought against Red Hulk. Like, she actually did beat up on Red Hulk too. She absolutely schooled Red She Hulk. One time she completely overwhelmed Vision, everyone's favorite android, and ended with ripping him right in half. Don't tell Scarlet Witch about that one. She beat up on Ulick, a Thor level villain, then fought against Namor when Namor was like Super Namor. He was holding back both Iron Man and Thor. Had just taken an attack from Captain Marvel, had it even budged, then Jin hits him, and well, it actually does something. And then, particular to this fight, while She Hulk punched Iron Man, knocked half of Tony's systems offline with just that one punch. Now, there have been times where She Hulk got abnormally stronger or increased her strength by like an exponential amount. Like when Photon amped up Jin with some extra gamma radiation, she would have put down Blue Marvel's sun, even when Blue Marvel's sun was the size of a freaking mountain. While amped up with the blood of Ymir, she was able to tear through dark celestial armor, something that Odin had said was impossible. Not even the Odin sword or Thor's axe could have cracked through that armor. But Jin did it. Granted, she was like the size of a celestial at the time, but Jin still did it. But the time I really want to focus on is when Jin learned that training her body as Jennifer Walters actually exponentially boost her strength as the She Hulk. And so when she did this and went through this, well, she was able to knock out the champion, an elder of the universe. Before this, She Hulk's max was 75 tons, and she was straining while doing this. But afterwards, well, she was able to breeze past the Thing's max at the time of 85 tons, holding it up with just one hand. Probably most impressive out of all of this, well, she was arm wrestling against Hercules several times, and each time she would throw the match, confident that she could win, but didn't want to hurt his feelings about it. So, wow, yeah, She Hulk is crazy strong. She crazy strong. But here's the thing, Iron Man isn't too shabby either. For just being a dude in a suit of armor, he's got some impressive strength. Like, shockingly impressive strength. Like, if you combine Extremis, Bleeding Edge, and maybe Mark 42, which seems fair to do against She Hulk, Iron Man has actually got some pretty great strength that he's shown us. One time, the Thing was struggling to pick up one of Iron Man's big old suits of armor, and Tony flies in there and easily lifts up the suit and Thing. He then flies the suit up into outer space and even goes on to catch it again while it was falling through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. So, there are times where She Hulk is stronger than Thing. Well, Iron Man is definitely stronger than Thing too. He's been able to absolutely manhandle Red Hulk, something that She Hulk did too, but you could argue that this one is even more impressive. Like Iron Man was just absolutely letting Red Hulk have it. He's fought against Hulk and staggered Hulk, then fought against this guy named Taurus, who had just knocked out Thor with just a few hits. He's decked Abomination, even took out a villain who was giving She Hulk some trouble, all while he was just basically autopiloting the suit and was miles away, relaxing in a pool and sipping on a cocktail. So, yeah, She Hulk might be known for her strength, that kinda might be her thing. But the difference between the two of them isn't a whole lot. Like, at all. If anything, you could argue there are moments where Iron Man appears to be stronger. Now, granted, like you could say the same for She Hulk too. She's straight up beaten Hercules in arm wrestling competitions, but Tony is stupid strong. But what about durability? Well, again, She Hulk is a Hulk. She's gonna be strong and she's gonna be tough. She Hulk has taken attacks from an impressive list of characters, like punches from Silver Surfer, from Hulk, from Red Hulk, from Cosmic Ghost Rider and Sentry, from Drax and Doc Samson, and a whole lot more attacks from Hulk. She Hulk has been through a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, she's taken a whole lot of attacks and been absolutely just fine through all of it. No harm, no foul. She's taken attacks from Iron Man, like full powered repulsors. Wasn't even phased. She was thrown all the way through a building by Tony and still kept on fighting. Even for as strong as Iron Man is, it's still going to be incredibly hard, if not dang near impossible, for Tony to put Jen down for good. But man, Iron Man is crazy tough too. Like, as I've been researching for this video, I've been impressed with She Hulk, but I've really been blown away by Iron Man. He's so much stronger than you might think. He's so much more powerful than you might think. And he's so much tougher than you might think too. Iron Man was able to survive 4 nuclear bombs and a whole bunch of other stuff when his suit had only 2% energy left. He's taken a whole lot of attacks from Sentry. He was able to hold his own against a divine Thor when Thor was hallucinating and going all out. And even taken a whole lot of attacks from a pissed off Hulk. His shields have held up against Final Form Ultron, against the Phoenix Force, against the Infinity Gauntlet. His shields are like god tier. Then there are a few times where we can just straight up directly compare him against She Hulk. Like when Tony fought against his own Hulkbuster suit, he's able to take some attacks and hold his own, despite that same suit having knocked out Captain America, Wolverine, Spider Man, Miss Marvel, and She Hulk. He was also able to take another attack that had already incapacitated She Hulk. So, yeah, even just straight up comparisons like that, there are moments where Iron Man doesn't just look like he's stronger than She Hulk, he also looks like he's tougher than She Hulk, too. And here's the thing, this is kinda all She Hulk has going for her strength and her durability. Sure, she might be smart and a quick thinker, but Tony is a certified super duper genius. He's one of the smartest people in Marvel. He's smarter than She Hulk. Yeah, She Hulk might be pretty fast and agile, but Iron Man can like dodge lightning and outrace black holes in outer space. He's faster too. Now, to be fair, the area where She Hulk might have Iron Man beat is in skill. She's a crazy good fighter, surprisingly skilled. There have been times where she's absolutely gooned on Iron Man before. But that's assuming that it's this version of She Hulk Iron Man is fighting against. She could also turn into Savage She Hulk and just lose all control and lose all her skill along with it. And it's also pretty important to note that even with all of Jen's skill, Iron Man was still able to take her out in that fight. Why? Well, because Iron Man has his weapons and his tech. And this, in my humble opinion, is the most important part of this fight. It's the one advantage that Iron Man has that She Hulk doesn't. Just high tech and high powered weapons galore. He nearly killed Graviton, an Avengers level threat, with just one blast from his unibeam. He was able to easily destroy a robot that, surprise, surprise, was giving the likes of Spider Man and She Hulk trouble. He can injure Hulk with some attacks. He can one shot Ulick, who, again, is a Thor level villain. She Hulk beat him in a fight. Iron Man beat him in one shot. And did it again and again. He staggered Mangog. He nearly killed Juggernaut. He did kill Terminus. When Iron Man really wants to, he can use his weapons, just go to town on pretty much anyone, Hulk or not. Don't believe me? Well, let's just ask Red Hulk. See what he thinks of Tony's weapons. So, end of the day, who's coming out on top here? Well, can She Hulk beat Iron Man? Yeah, I think she can. She can beat up on Tony. And she is a Hulk. She's just going to be ridiculously hard to put down and keep down. But is she going to be able to beat Iron Man consistently? Well, I think that's where you got to say no. Iron Man has consistently proven that he's just as strong as She Hulk, if not stronger. Iron Man has consistently proven that he's just as tough as She Hulk, if not tougher. With all of Tony's weapons and tech and powers and abilities, well, I think you just gotta give the edge to him here. Now, if it was the court of law, that might play out differently. But in the battle arena, well, Iron Man wins.